The recent Invictus Games over in Dusseldorf, Germany was seen, by some people at least, as not being the most glittering of successes, hijacked by many people say the arrival of Meghan Markle late, of course, to the events, but apologising also because she had to get milkshakes, burgers and stuff for her children. Yes, those children that we've still yet to see, and more importantly, ditched to go on a holiday, some people are suggesting. Fascinating in itself, is it not? But now, of course, there's this sort of fallout as to what went wrong, the debrief behind the scenes. Why did things not necessarily take off in the way that they felt? Now, as you know, at the very start of the Invictus Games, they had Heart of Invictus launched on Netflix, and we told you that wasn't necessarily a major spectacular success for the streaming giant. Nice, worthy, of course, and very much well deserved by the people taking part. As I've said many times, a lot of respect for those people. I admire the fact that they get up, get out there and show the world. You have to respect that. But what's interesting, according to a very well-placed source, both Harry and Meghan allegedly feel that they were upstaged at the 11th hour by this, with regards to Catherine and William. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. Nice to see you. You all right? Yes, a little bit chillier now today. I know, yes. Well, apparently we're going to have something of a storm. I love that. I said to you before, didn't I? Why do they name storms? It's just winter, isn't it? Does it really matter? You peek out the window and think, ooh, marvellous. You take your brolly, all that sort of stuff. Well, I can't take the brolly actually now. Umbrella for the rest of the world, because you just take off like Mary Poppins, do you know what I mean? Floating over the bridge. You could be in the river at this point. Don't get me giggling, you know what it's like. Back as ever to your breaking roll story of the day. Fascinating stuff this, because Harry and Meghan had hoped that the Invictus Games would rehabilitate them, It was their big thing, their big return. But of course, it takes a lot more than just a simple return to make sure the public like you and, more importantly, push ahead with you. Now, Harry, I thought, did something of a sterling job. He looked enthused at most of the occasions. And, Meghan Markle herself, dressed to the nines, of course, marching in front of the veterans, whatever you want to call it. They certainly got the headlines, if not necessarily the credibility. But now the debrief was simply this, that they felt they were upstaged at the 11th hour by Catherine and William sitting down with none other than Mike Tindle and, of course, his chum on a rugby podcast talking about themselves. It was a very glitzy, well-polished video, as all their podcasts are. A lot of big hitters, a lot of viewers on that. Now, let me just explain this for those that are trying to stir this up. That particular video had been made a couple of weeks prior to that, It wasn't exactly just off the cuff. And more importantly, William and Catherine did not have a say as to when that particular video was going to be leaked out. But one might suggest, of course, that Mike Tindle, who we saw was less than stellar, less than friendly with both Meghan Markle and, of course, Prince Harry at the Platinum Jubilee Awards, may have had some beef to gain. Who knows? We know that he doesn't like the fact that he feels that our late and wonderful monarch, Her Majesty the Queen, was very much disrespected by both of them. But to say that William and Catherine are to blame for the Invictus Games and the lack of positivity is a little stretch, to say the least. And once again, as a source told me inside palace walls, the bottom line is Harry and Meghan are looking, as ever, for someone else to blame for the fact that they simply, clearly, didn't put the work in. Meghan should have turned up on time, and they should have focused more on the veterans, which is what the Invictus Games is truly all about. I'd love to know what you think to this particular ongoing feud story in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.